What's up? My name is Armando Alejandro Montalvo. Where do I begin? A lot of people have been asking me, what happened to you? What became of this guy who was such a great role model and completely just went haywire and just started shooting crazy videos and was obscene, nasty, disrespectful, crazy, and abnormal. In this world, name one person who's absolutely normal. Nobody. We're all different. We're all who we are, and that's what makes us who we are. I put God first in everything that I do. So where do I begin? People want to know the story of what happened to Armando and why did he start doing all this. Number one, with this video, I don't want people to look at me a certain way and kind of give me, we feel for him or we feel bad for him. I don't want this to justify any of my actions of any of my videos that I've done. You know, either you take it, you accept it, you can appreciate it, or you take it for what it is. This is not let me get by with an apology. This is the true story. People want the truth. I'm going to give them the complete truth. So where do I begin? Well, I'm at a point in my life about maybe, say a little bit after my graduation from Paul Mitchell. And I wasn't happy with where I was at in my life. I felt we're getting towards October. I felt like I was at a point in my life that I had been doing so much for people that at the end of the day, I'd always go in front of people and look like I'm happy, but I was never truly happy with myself. And that's because when you get to a point in your life, you're like, you put success before you put everything in your life, which is happiness. That's where I messed up at. I put success first before I was truly happy. And in doing so, I was pleasing so many other people instead of pleasing myself. So I was working at a salon. I even put my music to the side for a while. I was helping out a good friend of mine and trying to help her reach her success, which doing so I would thought my success would come in, and I enjoyed doing that. I was a real good friend and good brother. So one day, we're in maybe September, early October. One day I grabbed like two energy drinks, 5-hour powers, knock them both back, and let me rephrase this. When I went back to Paul Mitchell to school, Orlando, when I made my return, I knew I needed some type of help, so I couldn't focus. So I put myself on, I spoke to a doctor or a nurse practitioner, which they can prescribe it now, and she put me on a medication called Psychiatric. And they put me on a medication called Seroquel for sleep. So I was on these medications for over a year now. I was on them for over a year and some change. So I was on medications for ADHD and Seroquel to help me sleep, which they fall under the psychotropic medication category. And not to take nothing from it. It helped me focus. It helped me get through school. Could I say I'm at the level where I'm at now because of the medications with graduating from school and being a great barber? I don't know if I can really say that. Could I have done it on my own? Probably, but it would have been a lot more challenging. So, after a year of taking these particular medications, Strattera, Seroquel for sleep, and I was only prescribed 50 to 100 milligrams of this medication of Seroquel for sleep, which is a very strong medication. They sell them on the streets of Philadelphia, I've been told, and these are the psychotropic medications I was prescribed, and I had been taking them for over a year. And I've been prescribed other medications in my past for bipolar and different type of anxiety disorders that I've been diagnosed with. So in October, I drank the 4-hour powers, and I grabbed the American flag from Geico. I see the fire truck, and I start running down 1792 with the American flag. I do a lot of exercising, so I just did something crazy. So from there, and people be like, yo, it's just not normal, but I'm a big patriot kind of person when it comes to 9/11. I respect the firefighters and everything they do. My brother-in-law is a firefighter. He's a great person in the community. When all others ran out, they ran in. So I chased the firefighters down. I'm running down 1792. I'm promoting the world record of most haircuts being beaten, and I figured to do it with the American flag, which I still believe I can do with the right great promotion. I still believe that I can beat that world record, and I will one day with the right great promotion and the great type of backing, if I can ever get that again. So considering I'm probably blackballed from the whole hair community, which is fine. It's okay. I'll get to that in a little bit. So I'm running down 1792 with the American flag. The cops tell me, instead of the we pressing charges against you, we'll just sending you to jail, we'll just send you to the psychiatric ward in South Seminole Hospital, which I thought was a pretty good place when I was there. I was like, well, it's a lot cleaner than Lakeside Alternatives, which is the one in Orlando, Florida. The staff there were pretty nice, pretty fair, and they treated you with respect and how you wanted to be treated. But I told the doctors there, they wanted to prescribe me a new medication named lithium. And I said, well, I've been on this medication for maybe a year and some change, and I've been doing okay with it. But they're like, you running down 1792 with the American flag, and you saying you can beat a world record of most haircuts, it's just not normal. Well, who is normal? Once again, nobody is. That's what makes me who I am. So they're like, you need to take this new medication. If not, we're going to take you in front of the judge. We're going to 32-day you here, and from there we can send you on to the state hospital. And we're going to get to where I'm at right now in my life and what's going on with my freedom. So at that point in my life, when I'm in that, I'm like, I call up my friend. She tells me, take the medication so you can come home and help us out and we get back on our feet. And I'm like, I really don't want to take the medication. I take the medications. I go in the boardroom, and I'm like, on top of that, they boosted up my Seroquel up to 800 milligrams. Now, I've already seen 2 doctors at this point. They boosted up my Seroquel to 800 milligrams. Now, this is a medication. There were like 2 big gulp. Like, I was walking around like a zombie. I had no energy. I was like, I could not focus. I was like, it's like something you see in the movies when they show psychotic words. People drooling on themselves. That's exactly how it was. So I took the lithium. I'm up to 800 milligrams of this medication, Seroquel. And when I took the lithium, I'm like, whatever. I go in the boardroom 2 days later because I felt like I was blackmailed into doing it. If I didn't take the medications, they were going to 32-day me there. And then they were going to try to recommend state hospital. I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, how could somebody, after 5 or 4 days evaluating you, know what is truly good for your health? I mean, and I didn't have Medicaid, so when you're in that situation, you're always treated a certain different type of way. So I took the medications, I took the lithium, and a couple days later, I went in the boardroom, and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, my head was like this. Are you still feeling like you could beat the world record of haircuts? I'm like, yeah, I still believe I can. It's been done before, and it can be done again. And I'm the guy who believes he can do it. And I still believe I can. Anything I put my mind to, I believe I can get done. But I sat in that boardroom, I was like, yeah, my mind was like this. Now I'm like this, so I can get the hell out of there. Which was a smart move on my behalf. I ended up getting the hell out of there after a week and some change. I got out of there, and I talked to a couple days later, I'm supposed to go see the doctor to have a follow-up and get the medications. So, and this medication, lithium, is not really helping me. It's actually driving me pretty crazy. Okay? And that could be because of what it's in reaction to the other medications. Maybe my body just didn't react to it like they thought it would, like any other person would. Maybe they thought when they prescribed these medications, it was just going to do what it says it's going to do. But that's not the way these medications work, okay? It just doesn't work like that. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different thought process. Everybody's body reacts a certain way to certain things, and everybody is different. So with these doctors saying, well, we thought that his body was going to react a certain way, I go to pick up the medications. I buy the medications. I tell the doc, or I don't buy them. I mean, you got to pay a little bit to get these medications, but you, through the government, you know, you can get some sort of type of grants, or through the pharmaceutical companies. And I told the doctor, I said, I really don't want to take these medications. I don't feel like they're helping me. I don't feel like they can help me. Not that I was combative, but I was like, I'm just not feeling the same that I did. And he's like, well, somebody here has got to play doctor. Okay? Somebody here has got to be doctor. You can't sit here. And in my mind, I'm like, this guy does not walk a mile in my shoes. And this third doctor I've seen, the guy who you follow up with after you've seen the early doctors from inside the institute. So I'm out there as a aftercare kind of person. I'm like, I don't feel like these medications are helping me. Well, why don't we just give it, 30, 40 days. We'll give you some blood work. We'll see how your blood is doing. And I said, I really don't want to take these medications. I don't feel like they're helping me. They're making my body react a certain way I don't want to. And I ended up taking the medications. I ended up listening to the idiot doctor, which is my fault. And 2 or 3 days later, I was already depressed in my life due to before this incident happened. And that's why I felt like, man, if I could beat this world record of most haircuts, I'd please myself. And I definitely set a standard in my future. And through all this, I was depressed. I wasn't pleasing my dad. It wasn't good enough for him. And throughout all this, I just wasn't happy with everything that I was doing. I wasn't happy with myself. I wasn't happy. I just wasn't happy. Truly, I was not happy with where I was at in life. And shortly 3 days after I went and saw that guy, I wanted to get away. I really didn't want to be in Orlando no more. I didn't want to be with my parents. I didn't want to be here anymore. I just didn't want to be in Orlando anymore. I wanted to get away. I wanted to do what anybody else does. Sometimes you want to get away from everything. And that's where I was at. I just didn't want to be here anymore. So next thing you know, I jumped the fence at the airport. I see the guy coming in with the plane. I was like, yo, man, let me get a lift. Stupid mistake on my behalf. I felt, because at that time, those medications were also, I couldn't truly focus the way I was with these medications. These medications were making me, you know what I'm saying? My mind wasn't all there. And I jumped the fence at the airport. So I go back into the mental health institution. They're like, we're not going to take you to jail. We're taking you back. So they take me back to South Seminole. The very next morning, all the doctors and everybody are in the boardroom. And this is what I say to them. First of all, I didn't want to take the medication. Second of all, you take a guy who was taking 50 milligrams of this medication and you boost him up to 800 milligrams, telling him that we can boost you up to 1,200 milligrams if you feel so. Now that's just not right. You took an average guy from the community and you just boosted up his milligram percentage by 600% within a 4 or 5 day time span to build up my tolerance level to a tolerance of these psychotropic medications, which is crazy. I said, I'd rather just go to jail and do my time where I'm not forced to take these medications. They look at me and they're like, wow, you know, he knows. He's not stupid. He knows exactly what we did to him. Well, just to let you know, they're pressing charges. You will be going to jail. And I said, that's fine. Send me to jail so I can take care of my bid. And I knew for jumping the fence at the airport, I'd probably do no more than 30 days. And to me, that is cake. It's sad to say, but I've been locked in and out of institutions my whole entire life. So at that point, they were upset because they knew I challenged them. And next thing you know, they're taking me to jail. So when I get into jail, the same sergeant who works in the jail also does his part-time job at the South Seminole Hospital. And he knew who I was. He knew I was a good guy. You know, I got along with everybody in there. I made everybody laugh. Everybody loved me in there, just like, you know, I made everybody laugh no matter what they were going through, and I treated everybody the same. And I get into the South Seminole or Seminole County Jail, and I'm in there for maybe less than 2 or 3 hours. I wake up out of my middle of my sleep, and I jump over the balcony, and I land right on the table with my feet. It was like the scene from Wolverine. If you've seen the movie when he jumps over the balcony, and that's exactly what it was. And next thing you know, the doctor from South Seminole Hospital is right there, and the sergeant. And the sergeant was just like, they bring the nurse in, they take a look at my ankles. They're like, hey, is he okay? Boom, we're sending him into the mental health part of the Seminole County Jail. So at that point, I'm in the mental health where I did 33 days in there, which was crazy, wild, but that's just the way I'd rather do my time. I make beats, I write lyrics, and I finished my script for Ghostbusters 3, but it gave me time to really work on myself. And I figured when I was in Seminole County Jail, I figured this be a great time for me, since I'm away from everybody, to really get off these medications once and for all. Say, forget it. I don't want to take them anymore. I want to try something new. I want to be able to say I can do it without the medications. So, in like the first 3 to 5 days, it was horrible. We're talking insomnia. I was like a horse, man. I was bouncing off the walls, you know, in my cell. A lot of exercising. It was like the Planet of the Apes. I was like a monkey in a cell. And I made it through. And I was very proud of myself. Because I finally, after 33 days, my mind was not all there, but I knew that I was getting there, and I was slowly, surely working my way through this whole process, which I wanted to get off these medications once and for all. I wanted to say I'm done. So 33 day, they're like, okay, the state. I told the judge, I said, look, I don't have no money to bond out of jail. I don't know what they did with my car, but I do want to go home today. So the judge is like, I'll release you on a conditional release, and where I'll let you go, and you won't have to bond out. And that's what I did. So I surprised my parents, and I'm here for about 3 or 4 days. And I drank a lot of coffee. And when you get out of jail or you do any type of drug, whether it's you smoke weed or you drink alcohol, when you're in jail, your body's so accustomed, you feel it like that. So I drank a lot of coffee, and my dad is like, what are you doing? You know, and it's like I had all this explosive amount of energy because I hadn't been taking these medications. And my dad is like, I'm going to take you to the clinic. So I'm like, all right. So I wake up and I look at my medicine cabinet, and my mom would keep all of the empty bottles of all the medications I had been taking. So I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, man. Like, I don't want to take these anymore. I just don't want to do it no more. I'm done with it. I don't want to take these medications no more. I'm looking at all these medications. I'm talking a lot of them. I don't want to take them no more. I'm done. You get to a point in your life where if you really wake up and realize, if you get to that point, because I don't believe in luck. I believe things happen for a reason. So if you ever get to that point, which I pray it does, but I woke up and I was just like, man, I don't want to take them anymore. I don't want to. So what did I do? It was around Christmas time. I wrapped all these medications up in Christmas gifts. I literally did put the bow on it, wrapped them up, and I'm like, I'm going to drop these things off. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to get rid of all these medications, and I'm going to just give it back to these clinics. I don't want to take them anymore. So, in doing so, my dad bought me a case of Monster Energy drink. I drop off the medications. He leaves because he thought that I was going to probably talk to them. I said, forget it, man. I left the clinic, I left my dad, and I just started exercising. And I started heading out west towards John Young Parkway, where, the whole incident happened of why I'm facing legal terms right now. Basically, I defecated in somebody's backyard. And I was being restrained. I had dog shampoo in my hair, and I couldn't breathe at all. And I put the American flag on the firefighter's truck. The police officer had no business restraining me. I mean, it's a bunch of mess. I don't want to talk about my case right here. I just don't want to talk about it. But basically, I landed up back in jail. Okay? I don't want to talk about that case because I'm still facing that. And I'm going through with it right now. So, I don't want to talk about my case. until it's all said, done, resolved, and done and over with. And we'll get to that just in a second. So I'm back in jail. I'm back in Orange County Jail, where they put me in mental health. And I'm back in mental health. And this time, in Orange County, the procedure is a little bit different. Like, you got to take the medications in order to get out of one section of Orange County to the next section, until you can finally get into general population and do your time. So, after being in that box, once again, for like 22, 23 days, they put me on a whole different another medication named Respinol, which I don't know if you've seen the ads. It gives men breast. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And, I had to take those medications in order to get out of that box. Because I had been in Orange County Jail before, and I wanted to go back. I wanted to get into general population because I figured by there I can get some clippers, cut some hair, make some money, get some commissary. And what happened was I ended up doing 22 days in the box there. And then finally I went to the second level of mental health, where it's like you're enclosed in a small area. They took the TVs out of there, and it's like, luckily I was blissfully, if that's even a word, I was able to get some clippers, cut some hair, and make some money for a suit. And I made about 2 or 3 suits in mental health, which has never been done. One CO comes up to me, he's like, "You're not allowed to cut hair. You're just not allowed to. You're in mental health. I don't care if you're a licensed barber. I don't care who you are. You're not allowed to cut hair, and mental health patients are not allowed to cut each other's hair." So that CO, no offense, not all of them are dicks, but that guy was a straight dick. Excuse my language, but I call it like I see it, and I say it like it was. That guy just kind of like, just hated on it, like, and you always got one of those COs that are, no shit. Not all of them are like that. Not all of them. But some of them are assholes. And same thing with police officers. So I can't cut no more hair. I can't make a little bit extra off my tray. So I go up to the mental health lady and I'm like, I think I'd be better in general population. I know you just seen me about 2 days ago. Medication was making me constipated. So I had seen her for that. So I could get more medications, because you can't just ask the med nurse for like milk of magnesia or a laxative. You have to go through, a sick call procedure, which could take days. So I spoke to mental health and I told her, I said, "Look, man, I'm ready to, I think I'll be okay with going to general population. I think I could do my time." And not to backtrack a little bit, but after those 22 days in the first part of the county jail where you're in a box, I spoke to my public defender, and he said, "Oh, this, that." So we'll get to that in a second. So I'm ready to go to general population, and usually I always go to the main part of the jail, which is the worst, the criminals. No matter what, your prior history, your criminal history, because even if I did a petty crime, I usually always go to the main facility, which is called the jungle. They call it the jungle because that's the way it is in there. It's like, it's the jungle. Only the strong survive. The weak get all their commissary taken from them. The weak get everything taken from them. If you're just a weak-minded person, you don't survive in there. And I've gotten in many fights because that's who I am. I'm not going to let somebody just walk all over me. It's just, that's not the way it works with Armando. And this time around, I went to the Horizon facility, which was like, this is sweet. compared to the jungle. So I'm over here doing my time, and eventually, I talked to my parents. I had already spent Christmas, New Year's, and I already did my Seminole County bid. So I'm like, I want to go home. I don't want to be in jail no more. I'm already in here. But so eventually, my public defender got the bond reduction hearing, and my parents were, thank God willingly, they were able to get me out. So I'm out of jail after doing about 75, doing the last quarter of 2014 behind bars. So, and I'm still at the point in my life where I don't want to take these medications anymore. And now me and my dad were on the same terms, but I had explosive when I got out of jail. I didn't want to take these medications no more. So my dad says, just go to South Seminole, go back to that facility. So I went and saw that same doctor again. He tried to prescribe me these medications. And he said, well, let's put you on the Respinol, because they had already been giving it to you in Orange County Jail. And I think it'd be a good fit because your body's already used to it. I'm like, but I'd rather take if I'm going to take any medications, what I took in the very beginning, which was the original 2 medications. And then he gave me the Respinol, and then he gave me something else for sleep. And that's when I was just like, man, screw this, bro. Like, I'm done. From this medication to this medication to this medication to this medication, I'm done. I was already at that point where I didn't want to take any more. So now with this new medication, I asked him, is it true that Respinol gives you breaths? And he's like, well, it can. And I'm like, well, that's just a good enough reason for me not to want to take it. I don't want to take it. That's just, you sold me there on the ad on TV. I don't want to take it. I don't want to do it. I just don't want to take these medications no more. So I brought him home, the Respinol and the other medication, to please my father. Now, my father doesn't understand what's really going on with me because I haven't truly told him yet. I said, that I don't want to take these anymore. Like, you don't realize where I'm at in my life. I don't want to take them. So, I go on my roof and I'm doing these things where you've seen some of my videos where I jump off my roof onto the mattress, and the cops get called. Someone calls them in my neighborhood. The whole band squad comes through, and they're like, well, you just don't seem right. We like what you did with your American flag. You put it on top of your house. We thought it's heroic, but we want you to come with us. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going back to Lakeside, so I'm back in the mental hospital in Orange County. So I do about 7 or 8 days there, which I made the best of it. I make the best of anything that I ever do in any particular scenario. I try to make the best of it. And at least in there, you get to see girls, and you're not like caged up completely like an animal. You're treated with some sort of type of level of respect. You're treated like a human being. You're treated like a patient or a client. But you're still treated like, you're not all there. There's always rules into everything you do. So I get out of there. I told the doctor. And the doctor's like, why don't you stay here for a couple days? And I said, whatever. So then they prescribed me the Depakote, a new medication. And then they prescribed me the back to Seroquel for sleep. So after 3 or 4 days, I go in there, I talk to the doctor, I said, I'm ready to go home, I don't want to be here anymore. So I go home. The doctor knew I didn't want to take these medications. He knew deep down I was alright. So, after a couple days, my dad is all like, he's trying to act like he's concerned now. He's trying to act like he truly gives a crap of what's going on with me. So he's like, take your medications. Like, he's shoving it down my throat. Now, not to bash my father or anything, but I don't sit there with the bottle of booze every night and shove it in his face and tell him to drink his booze. And my father's an alcoholic. I was a bad alcoholic, and I can admit that. But I told my dad, who are you to shove these medications and try to offer me and shove them down my throat? You know what my dad does? He goes to the judge of Orange County courts, and they get me ex parte. Ex parte is an act where if you feel like your loved one feels like hurting themselves or is a threat to the community, you can get them Baker Acted. And a Baker Act is where you go to a mental hospital and you're held against your will, but you have to see a doctor within 72 hours. That is what a Baker Act is. You have to see a doctor within 24 hours, and then they can hold you for 72 hours. And an ex parte is an act to make you go under the Baker Act. So here, I gotta go back to Lakeside, which was cool because I was out the next morning. I told the doctor, and I said, look, I don't feel like being a threat to myself. I'm not a threat to the community. Let me go home. And that was the difference between Lakeside and South Seminole Hospital. In South Seminole, they kind of blackmailed me into taking these medications I didn't want to take. As if in Lakeside, you're not a threat, you don't feel like hurting yourself, you seem okay to me, we're going to send you home. And that's what happened to me. And then a day or two later, I'm right back in the same situation. I'm back, I think on Valentine's Day. I went back to Lakeside. And the same thing. I don't feel like taking the medications. I won't. And I'm right home. Then there's a night when my dad is sitting there and he's drinking. And I said, Dad, do you really care about your son? Because now you're going to understand how I truly feel. Not in a threatful way, not in an explosive way, but I told him, you have no idea how it feels when people are trying to shove these medications down your throat and you're not trying, but you're doing what you can to get off of these medications. And I made it clear to him, people committed suicide, people go further in depression, people relapse on drugs and alcohol. These medications, somewhere down the line, mess you up. I'm at a point in my life where I just wanted to get off of them. I didn't want to be caught up in that mind frame anymore, that I need these medications in order to go on about my life. Now, I've done a lot of crazy things on the internet, and I've shot a lot of crazy videos. In doing so, it was a way for me to reflect on myself on what I was doing. A lot of people will say it wasn't normal, it was crazy, it was stupid, whatever. But I was doing it for me. I wasn't doing it for people. Because I was like, I've been doing so much for people, and it's like, whatever. But I started shooting all these videos for myself. And at the end of the day, it's like, who's going to really, truly still be there for Armando? Because Armando's always been a loner. No ifs, ands, and buts. I've always been a loner my whole entire life. That's just the way it is. That's the way it was. And that's probably the way it will be for the rest of my life. I know for a God-given fact that I'm going to make it and I'm going to be successful one day because I'll never give up. Though many people probably by this point would have relapsed on drugs, committed suicide, or probably went back to the medications by now. I'm just at a point in my life where I don't want to take them, I don't want to do them, and people don't realize. Once you get on these medications, you may think they help you for a little while. You know, they might calm you down, they might have some sort of type of impact in your life at some point in the very beginning, but later down the line you don't know what you're truly doing to yourself. When you get off these medications, it's just like getting off of any other drug. Your mind goes through different changes. Your body goes through different withdrawals. The psychotropic medication withdrawal, and I've withdrawn from any drug because I've done drugs, and I'm man enough to sit here and say that I've done drugs and to be a coward and beat around the bush and say I've never done drugs, or I'm one of those people who did drugs and was just like, I'm just a casual person. No, I did it, I done it, I lived it, I was about that life, sold drugs, rolled with the wrong people, did the wrong things, rapped about it, done it, and lived it. Now I'm in a different place where I'm trying to get off those things, and then I replaced it with psychotropic medications. I fell into that gap. And getting off these medications is the hardest thing I've had to do. To get my mind out where it's at now, it's been the hardest thing that I've ever had to do. I keep my medical wristbands on me. I keep them with me. People always looked at me like I'm crazy. And like I said, this video, and here's where we're at in my life right now. I get a call today. I had to go see another doctor. So, at my public defender's office, the deposition guidance counselor calls me, and she's like, "Whoa, you got to see another doctor, a doctor we could trust." I go in there and I answer all his questions to the best of my ability that I can, just like I'm sitting here shooting my video. He said in his report that I was borderline state hospital, but yet I was able to enter a plea, but I'm not competent to stand trial. That makes no sense. How can you say that someone's mentally competent to enter a plea, say I'm not guilty, take the charge, but I'm not mentally competent to stand trial? So here's what So with the Seminole County thing, I go up in my robe, I walk in the courtroom, and then we're going to go back to Orange County. And when I was seeing that doctor, he was putting in a report for Seminole County at the same time as Orange County. So my Seminole County public defender was going to go off of his report. I put on that white robe like I shot the video. I walked in the courtroom and I fired his ass on the spot. You're not representing me. You're not going to speak up for me. Because the last time I stand in this courtroom, you didn't say one word to me. I fired his ass right in front of the judge. And the judge was like, well, I said, Your Honor, I want to take care of my case today. I want to get this resolved with. The state attorney says, okay, we'll give you credit time served, 33 days. And then we'll try to give you restitution for the police investigating on what they did at the Sanford airport, which is $670-something in investigation restitution, a judgment. Why do I have to pay for what cops are paid to do? I stood in front of the judge and said, well, I'm not paying for that. and I'll have somebody else represent me. I had my car taken. I had over $1,000 of all of my tools, my Paul Mitchell scissors, all of my nice tools that were given to me. I'm left with one tool. My car is gone. Why am I going to pay the cops for what they're paid to do? And he said, the state attorney is like, okay, we're not going to combat you on that. We'll just give you 33 days time served, and we'll withhold that. You don't have to pay that. And I was like, good. Because I shouldn't have to pay that. I shouldn't have to pay for what cops are paid to do. That was their investigation. They went in. So I was smart enough to fire the public defender on the spot and represent myself. So, because would have he said something, my court case for what I did last year would have got pushed back all the way till September of this year. Because I'm a guy who just wants to get this all done and over with and live my life. So, the doctor said that I was competent enough to enter a plea, but I'm not competent enough to stand trial. That makes no sense. If you don't know about the court system, you should never get involved with it. It's a mess. Now, my back is against the wall now. Because this is what my public defender tells me today. In order to keep you out, we have to put you on a conditional release. Considering that doctor said you were incompetent to stand trial. So we have to put you in some sort of type of conditional release program where you have to take medications. You have to receive, so we can restore you back to competency. My life right now is like, I'm at a point in my life where I've just winged myself off with all those medications. I don't want to take them, and I don't want to go back on those medications. I've worked so hard with exercise, music, crazy videos to restore myself back to where I was. But this time without the medications. So he's like, you don't have a choice. If you see a new doctor and your doctor recommends state hospital, then you're screwed. And I'm like, then why are you representing me? Why was I able to go leave your courtroom that same day and go stand and represent myself in Seminole County and get it resolved on one day? And represent myself with no counsel there. I didn't need no help. Obviously, someone here has got it all together. Now, I don't have it completely all together because who does? But I was able to represent myself in court that day, resolve my case, and get the deposition done and over with and get the case resolved that very same day. Now, I told him, he says, well, if you stand in front of the judge, the worst outcome is, they do force you in. And I was like, man, my back is already against the wall as it is because I don't want to take the medications. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm at a point in my life where it's like I am a lot smarter than I was. If people think that I'm crazy, I'm stupid, I'm out there, but I'm a lot smarter than what people make me out to be. And, with him calling me today, it's not the best of news. It's like, my only thing is like, it's like going back to the South Seminole thing. Like either you take the medications or we send you back and we force you into going into a state hospital. And people don't understand what it is to get off of these medications or to be on them. People commit suicide. People go through depression. People do abnormal things. But these medications, They're intended to help people. But in the long run, when you finally wake up and you have that come to Jesus meeting, we got 10 minutes left. And then you realize, like, I don't want to do this anymore. And you could do your research. Because I damn sure have. And listen to these people getting off of these medications that I was prescribed as well. It's not easy. But when you get off of them and you get your mind clear, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you know you can do it without them, and you never give up hope, and then you realize that you are a lot stronger than with medications, that you can do it, and you believe in yourself, that it'll come around. You know? But it's like I don't want to do the medication thing. I'm just done. And it's like he told me on the phone, they don't care how you feel. Their goal is to have someone say, we restored him back to competency so he could stand trial. So he tells me today, look, obviously the idiot doctor said I was able to take a plea. That I'm competent enough to take a plea. But I'm not competent to stand trial. It makes no sense. And that's how I'm like, I'm just going to judge, like, I'm just going to base, that's just how stupid a lot of people are. They're idiots. Even the doctors. You think those doctors don't go home and probably pop a few of them pills themselves? Of course they are. How can someone, by an hour or two of just understanding this person, say, well, he's competent or incompetent, or he's crazy or he's not crazy? That doctor said I was borderline state hospital, but I wasn't. But I was able, by his report, to proceed with a plea, but I was not competent enough to stand trial. Which, now they're like, well, we have conditions. Either, we put you in some sort of type of outreach where you have to take the medications, or they're going to make you force you to do it anyway. And I wanted to get this video out there so people would know, let's say if it did go wrong, that I was able to tell people I got myself off those medications and I'm happy. I'm very proud of myself. Most people don't make it this far. Most people don't. Most people have either committed suicide by now, went into a severe depression, or has ran back to drugs and alcohol to self-medicate themselves. That's the way it is, bro. These medications are no joke. And though nowadays you get in a fight with your girlfriend, you go see a doctor, it's like, here's this medication, or I lost somebody, here's this medication, but you really don't know what you're getting yourself into until you really try to get off of these things. Because your body and has been so used to them. There is no theory, scientific theory, that can support the chemical imbalance in your brain theory. It's just one that came out. I'm someone's kid, I'm someone's brother, I'm someone's friend, I'm somebody, I'm just me. But this can be your son, this could be your grandson, your brother. And when people are backed against the corner, it's like, this can happen to anybody. When you think you're trying, and my dad, he'll tell you now, he's changed his whole philosophy on everything. Because I had to sit here and completely pour it all out to him. And tell him, you have no idea how it is. And now he apologizes. I'm sorry. I never had it all together. I'm not perfect. We all make mistakes, and I forgive them for it. That was a tough time because I didn't want to go back to the mental hospital. I didn't want to go back to it. I didn't want to go back to taking these medications. And people don't realize, man, these things have a strong effect on you. When you take them for a little while, when you start taking them and you hit your 6 to a month year range, and you've been on them for so long, and when you have that come to Jesus meeting where you want to get off of them and you wake up and realize, like, I don't want to take these anymore, you know, it's hard. It's hard to wing yourself off of these things. That's why I was happy to start the very beginning in the Seminole County Jail. Now with real life and the way it works is, you know, like I said, you have a problem, you go see a doctor and they give you a medication. As in, you know, the old school life experience, you dealt with life and how it took. Who doesn't have mood swings? Who doesn't have their moments? Who doesn't go through things in life? Who doesn't? That's what life is all about. When you substitute something for a medication, you just get yourself in for a roller coaster ready to ride. And it has its ups, and it's damn sure going to have its downs. But any advice I can give to anybody is I'm no angel and I'm no saint. And anything that I've shot in this video is not to have people look at anything that I've done or past that. Those videos are crazy. I look back on them, I laugh. A lot of people do, and a lot of people befriended me, deleted me. I am completely blackballed from the hairdressing community. No one will ever want to work with me, and that's fine. Will they ever be able to take away what I did for myself and what I was able to accomplish? No. They can't take that away from me. Nobody can. Nobody can walk a mile in my shoes. I can't walk a mile in your shoes. I can't do the things you do, and you can't do the things that I do. And that's what separates us, like I said in another video before. I didn't do this for kicks. I did it for myself, for self-reflection, I did it for myself. When people say you did a lot of wrong things, I sure did. Did I hurt anybody do it? No. Were my intentions were to hurt people? No. And people may say, well, we didn't want to see you take a dump on the toilet. Well, who cares? There's a lot worse things people can be doing than shooting a video of themselves taking a dump on the toilet. And nobody can make that old lady downstairs laugh and put a smile on her face like I do every single day. And so with my life, I have 2 minutes left. And I feel good now that I got all this off my chest. I feel a lot better. Because if they were trying to shove these pills down my throat, and I gotta at least say, I got this video out on the internet, and I got my mind, I got everything back. You know? Does the incident that happened in Orange County have some sort of type of plane of trying to get off these medications and being prescribed new ones? Of course it does. It all plays in the role. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about my case until it's done. But I'm not going to take medications anymore. I don't want to do it. I want to be an example to people who've gotten off of these medications and been able to do it. Through self-therapy. My therapy was music, making new beats, shooting these crazy videos, and reflecting on all of it. That was my way of dealing with it. And though a lot of people had to see it, but everybody got to see it. It's all out there. And a lot of it's funny and good work. And I enjoy looking back on it. I love it. One video I watched was like, you know, people live in the past. If you live in the past, you die every day. You just gotta look to the future. Now, if I lost so many friends on the internet who befriended me and said, oh, he's gross, he's nasty, he does this, he does... Are these people, the ones who befriended me, and I know they'll probably look back to watch this video, are they people who come into my life every day and say, hey man, how you doing? Are these people who truly care? Are these people going to be there for you when you're getting buried? Probably not. So, do I care at the end of the day? No. Because after caring for so many people, this is where it all began. I didn't care about myself. I am a firm believer when you do put people first, success does follow. But I didn't put myself completely first. I wasn't happy. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And I love people. People are my drive, meeting new people. But and that's why it's like if I lost friends during this whole procedure, it's fine. There's more people to meet. There's more people out there. And I'm me. Can't nobody take that away from me. And you're you. I hope people will respect for what I did here. I hope people can truly understand. Because I can sit here and tell you how I've read and watched documentaries on how it's affected people here, how people committed suicide here. I could do all that. Take my word for it. A guy who's experienced it and has gotten to where I'm at right now. When you have a problem, the best way to deal with it is do meditation, martial arts, music, and most of all, exercise. You have to figure out a way in your life how to deal with these problems without alcohol, psychotropic medications, because in the long run, it affects you. In the long run, it affects you. You know, they come out with these medications every so often, but they don't know what they're doing to your liver. They don't know what you're doing to your heart. You know, they don't know what it does to you in the severe long run. That's why these medication pharmaceutical companies are the billion-dollar top dogs in these industries. They're in every magazine you read, and there's a new medication coming out for everything. I broke up with my girlfriend, and I'm in severe depression, so I have this disorder. I get shy before I go on stage, so you got this disorder. I have a problem with doing a certain thing. You have this disorder. I lost my grandmother 2 days ago, hypothetically. You have this disorder. I have a problem meeting new people. You have this disorder. Everything nowadays is labeled as some sort of type of disorder. So, and here's a guy. I'm going to end it on this note. I'm a guy, and that's why I'm so proud of myself. That I was able to get this far without no counseling. Nobody truly backing me in my corner. But I did it with the grace of God. I did it, and God knows how hard I've worked to get where I'm at. I mean, me and my dad were talking today. I said, Dad, you know, I know God's been looking, and He knows I'm trying. He knows I'm really trying out here. I really miss my best friend a lot. I really do. Because he really understood me than most people, and he never turned his back on me. He was my friend, he was my brother. This was a guy, my best friend, my brother, who I could talk to and never prejudged me and always understood me. Never laughed at me, only laughed with me. he understood me. And most people will never understand me. Most people will never understand Armando. Because no one has truly taken that time. And he did. He took that time to get to know me and be my friend. And never judge me, man. I miss him a lot, man. I miss talking wrestling with him. I just miss the fact that I could call somebody when I needed to, talk to him. He was always my friend. I didn't want to cry, man. It just hurts. You never know who to trust. Because it's like, do people really look at you? Do they really care? Or they just put it on the front? It's hard for me to put my heart out there. Especially when you did it, when you were in that lifestyle, hanging out with the wrong people. It's hard. But I miss my best friend. I miss him a lot. Because I could talk to him about anything, man. I don't have that anymore. And that's why I'm so proud of myself. I don't got anybody I could just pick up the phone and call. I can't do that with my sister. I can't do that with my own brother. I can hardly do it with my own dad. It's taken my dad a little while now to truly understand how hard it's been for me. This shit has been tough. It hasn't been easy. But I'm proud of myself. Because I haven't given up on myself and I haven't ran to drugs. Or alcohol. Which is always on the right of you and it's always on the left of you. And it's always staring right back at you. Saying, hey man, we're always here. Why don't you come back? Hang out with us. And you know, I went one day recently. I go to Dollar Tree all the time. I saw one of my friends from school. She's like, you know, I don't like all the shit people's been talking about you on the internet. I said, well, you know, it is what it is. It's no big deal. It's nothing new to me. But you're not on your medications anymore. And at that point, it was like, you just don't understand. So, running around, shooting my videos, being a little bit more abnormal than the regular normal person is to the norm. And that makes me happy, and let it be. Now that I've shot in this video and I can show it to the world, whatever they do with me now, whether they try to put me in the mental hospital, in the state mental hospital for not taking these medications no more, I have a sense of relief. I'm happy. I'm free. Because I'm not taking them anymore. And if I got to find a new lawyer who will stand up for me and understand, because this needs to be addressed. And I told him I'd rather represent myself. I'll fire you just like I did that other public defender. We don't got to do a Nelson hearing. I'll fire your ass on the spot like I did that other public defender. Because at the end of the day, it's my health. It's my well-being. It's my freedom. And it's my life. Nobody else's. So I'm pretty much done here. This is my podcast. I wanted to have my buddy come sit in on it, but I figured I wanted to get it done and over with. I needed to get this off my chest, and I finally did, and I feel so much better now. So if you sat here and you watched the whole story, thank you. Armando loves you. For the one or two people, and you know who you are, who really appreciate everything that I do, thank you. Because the one or two of y'all are the ones that I do it for. And I know somewhere down the line I'm going to make it and I'm going to be successful. Because I'm no quitter. And I never give up. And I'll never give up. Chasing dreams, opportunities, and taking chances is what I'm all about. And I figured, with the whole court case, I try to make the best out of it. Try to make people laugh. Instead, it went completely opposite, and people looked at me like I'm crazy. Like they always have. So, and like I said, man, with this whole video is not to win people over, win people back. Because like I said, man, I'd rather have people who appreciate what I did since day one and can still appreciate what I do. And the ones who know what I'm doing, thank you. And the ones who've stood by my side, thank you. Like I said, man, after my best friend died, there was nobody truly there that I could talk to and ventilate out with. And that's just the reality of it. My dad said today, in conclusion, your brother and your sister said, there's not anything in this world that my brother couldn't do. I thought about it, I said, that's not the conclusion. The conclusion is what the state attorney and what these people are trying to do to my well-being and my future is the conclusion. Because my brother and my sister are not there for me and never were there for me. And that is the truth. Doesn't matter what they think. I don't care what they think. I don't really care to think what they think. Because I don't have time for that. Because thinking and caring about what people and how they perceive me led me to where this whole depression came. I cared about success. I cared about what people thought. I cared too much about what people wanted me to be in life instead of caring about myself. And through all my videos and everything, it was a way for me to kind of just bug out, have fun, appreciate what I'm doing here, and love and reflect on it. And then because it's not normal to most people, I lost so many people over it. But it was a good way for me to ventilate, speak my mind, and self-reflect. And in doing so, not caring about what other people thought. Oh, should I just post this video out there? Nah, hell nah. Posted it all out there without a second reaction of what people would think or care or say about what I was doing. Because at that point I didn't care anymore about what people thought. I cared about myself. And they say sometimes in life you gotta get selfish. It was about time I damn sure did. And I started caring about myself. And in doing so, I got my mind back to where it was. I quit doing the psychotropic medications. And I got myself back to where it ought to be. Now, this is the end right here. If you look on it, you do your research if you have time to. I'm just one in a million of people who suffer from very sort of things. And went to medication and tried to deal with it. And I just woke up one day and said, I don't want to do this anymore. So here it is. This is my story. And hopefully everything goes well in court. And I'll tell everybody. They're like, well, would you be willing to plead out to a simple battery? Because you can plead out right now, but you can't stand trial. Man, that doctor was pulled in by the state of Florida, and that's a bunch of bull crap. And that's why I'm trying to go and see different attorneys. Because this is just the beginning. And there will be more. And we'll see what happens. But at least if I got this out here on the internet, people know my story. And thank you for watching. Armando Alejandro Montalvo loves you. And I didn't do this for hits or other, I did this because people needed to know. And now you know. And here's the truth. And I just want to let you know. I love you. And the one or two of y'all who really appreciate what I do it for you. So thank you. And God bless you. God bless America. God bless our troops. And God bless you. Love, props, and peace. Chasing dreams, opportunities, and taking chances.